I'm Paul Marsh, one of the GSB consultants here in the Beginning a Culture of Generosity program. And today I want to talk to you about Temple Talks. Temple Talks are a wonderful way for some of your volunteers, some of your members, to witness to the rest of the congregation and inspire them as they make their determination and discern what God is calling them to do in terms of their own generosity in the fall stewardship appeal. So what do Temple Talks look like? Well, first of all, we want to talk about recruiting volunteers to be Temple Talkers. And keep in mind, we're looking for about 3 people to provide Temple Talks. And we want as diverse a group of 3 people as possible. You want to look at different generations, different racial breakup, ethnicity, whatever you can do to make it as diverse a group as possible is important. Secondly, I like to actually ask the pastor to recruit these Temple Talkers because I think it's important that the pastor typically knows who is comfortable speaking to large groups of people. The pastor also knows who will really kind of keep it short and brief and to the point. And then finally, typically the pastor knows who's willing to actually share their generosity experience, because that is the key. This is not a sermon by any stretch of the imagination. It is simply sharing one's personal journey of generosity. So that's really the type of people we're looking to recruit. Secondly, the Temple Talk has got to be brief. If there's one piece of advice I share with folks, it is that the Temple Talk cannot last over 5 minutes. To the point that if someone starts talking and goes beyond that 5 minutes, somebody needs to be just off the stage, if you will, and pull those folks off with a shepherd's crook. Of course, I'm joking, but it really does need to be brief, to the point. Typically, we're looking for less than 5 minutes. And that typically ends up being about a page to a page and a half, double spaced, when you actually type out that Temple Talk. Third, we're really trying to inspire people. And so I like to encourage folks who want to do Temple Talks to talk about their own generosity journey. Answer the question prompt, what was the most generous thing you ever witnessed? Who taught you generosity? Things like that, and really reach back and talk about generosity as a concept, as a component of your faith journey and your spiritual journey. That really makes more of a difference and inspires people than anything else that we have found. So I would encourage you to do that. Finally, we used to do this in person, right? And so it's a little bit of a different situation. We want to be able to distribute these electronically, digitally. And so we want now for these to be recorded. And also we do want them presented during the worship service, whether it's online or in person. If it's in person, wonderful. If it's online, that's great too. We just want to have those Temple Talks recorded so that it can be pushed out to the membership during the worship service. This can also be distributed in social media and via email. Whatever your situation is in your congregation, I think it's a great idea to make these into short 2 to 3 minute snippets and actually put out via MailChimp or Constant Contact midweek, whatever is your particular congregation's practice. And so be sure and share these digitally, whether you're doing it in person or completely online. I think that's something we want to share to inspire as many people during the Temple Talk as possible. So have fun with this. Encourage people to think about providing their Temple Talk, and then coach them to make it brief, to the point, poignant, and a witness of their own generosity. Hey, thanks very much. Enjoy your Temple Talks and beginning a culture of generosity.
Thanks, Paul. As I think about Temple Talks, I'm always reminded of a story that I lived through in the congregation in which I'm a member. we had a guest scheduled to do a temple talk, but he came on the wrong week. And so we decided that we'd go ahead and have him give his talk, as well as the person from our own congregation that we had scheduled. He went first talking about a medical mission, and he did nothing but share facts and figures with us. In fact, the facts and the figures that he shared with us were kind of depressing from what we could tell. Though we didn't really understand the ministry, we didn't fully understand the impact that they had, he just gave us some negative numbers. Following him immediately was a friend of mine who told the story of the camp just down the street that was going to be part of what we were going to fund with our increased giving for this year. And she shared her personal story, the story that made a difference in her life. And that she shared the story of her children and the difference the camp made in their lives. She inspired us. And so we had this contrasting moment between a temple talk that only informed, and actually only informed negatively. And we had the story of a ministry that was making a tremendous difference in the life of somebody that we loved and cared for. We were inspired to fund the camps. The other ministry, it left us feeling flat. And so as you work on your temple talks or ministry moments this fall, let's work to get that inspirational story that can bring your listener in and help them to feel as if God is at work through the ministry which you're describing. Thanks so much.